So this video is about remote desktop. Specifically, we're going to remote desktop from a workstation to the server. And in order for that to happen, we're going to have to set the remote access on at the server. So I go to the server, and I can find the remote access settings in the system properties under remote settings. And here for remote desktop, we can allow remote connections to this computer. So I say OK. And then I say OK again. And there we go. So let's go to the workstation. And the application is remote desktop connection. You can see it found it here. And all I have to do is type in server, and we'll connect to that, except when it doesn't. All right, I took a break to join this virtual machine to the domain. It wasn't on the same domain and wasn't on the same network. So I'll make a video at another time where we go through troubleshooting all the steps. That's really important because the more we mess with the cyber range, the more we need to be sure that things are where they're supposed to be, so that way the assignment works. So like I said, I joined the static network, and I joined the domain, and now I'm ready to go. So I'm kind of glad that happened, because this is the first time after the workstation has been joined. And you can see here that this is a local admin. This is the account that I created when I first installed the workstation from the setup disk. What I need to do is I need to change the user. So there's an other user here. And then you can see here that it's sign into target, which luckily happens to be the correct domain. But I'm going to show you anyway. If you don't have the domain login for that first time, you put in sign in target, and then it shows target. There's another trick here. If you do /, that's what it looks like when you sign into the desktop. So luckily, this came up with target. That's correct. I'm going to use the administrator account. And because this is the first time login, I'm going to skip over the login. First time login is always a little bit longer because it has to create the profile. And you'll see that if I can type in the correct password. Look at that. I'm trying to sign into the desktop. So I need target, which is the domain. And then the password. And there I am. So I'll pause that while this first time profile is created on the local workstation. So these are the messages that you'll see when it's starting up the workstation for the first time, or starting up a profile on the workstation for the first time. Now what we can do is we can get to the remote desktop app, and I'm going to type in remote. Let me do this through the start menu. Remote. Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, I'm going to try and install the app from the Windows Store. This is actually different. There is a remote desktop app, but it looks like when I join this to a domain, then it wants to get it from the store. So let's see what happens when I do that. I'm going to install the app by clicking on it. See if I can click on the link. And so it looks like the remote desktop app from the Windows Store that it's asking to install that. And we can't do that here because we're not connected to Windows Store with the administrative account. That app is probably, it's the next generation of remote desktop, and so at some point I'll make a specific video just on that. But for right now, I developed a workaround. The command line, or the actual command, the Windows command is Microsoft Terminal Services, MSTSC. And when I do that, here I get the old standard remote desktop. And then I'm going to use the IP address of the server, 10.02.100. And then I'll be able to log in as the target administrator. It has a self-signed certificate, so it asks if you want to connect anyway, since it's self-signed, and usually that's less secure. But this is okay. And then you can see here, this is the IP address for a remote desktop. I can take and minimize the window, reduce it, and I can move it around. There's the Windows 10 desktop, and I'm now here as the server. So one of the things that we could do, number one, yay, we got the server, we got remote desktop. And then another thing here, let me run CMD. There's the command window. Now that wasn't there till I just ran it now. If I want to leave, what I really should do is log off. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect. So using the exit close button here, I'm going to disconnect. And what that means is that I'm still logged into the server. It's just that I closed the remote desktop connection. So let me show you what that looks like. I go back to the server and I do Control Delete. The right control is the guest key, and delete is short for Control Delete. And when I log in, you can see that the command window is still open. Basically, I opened it in remote desktop, and when I disconnected and logged in again at the server, it's still open. So just one more time here, I can type hello, and then go back to my Windows 10 workstation. And then here you can see the server window. So I do Microsoft Terminal Services, MTSC. That's the server IP address. I connect. And when I log in here, it'll log me out there. But you can see that I'm now logged into the server, and I can see hello, which is just what I typed. So there you go. We've turned on remote desktop access using the system properties on the server. On the workstation, we use the Microsoft Terminal Services command, MSTSC. We use the IP address of the server and use the administrative login. We're on a domain joined computer, and we're logged in as administrator. And so everything works. Yay!